Hi, guys. Welcome. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, I asked what we were going to talk about, and what I heard is prophecy fulfilling. That's a little nerve-wracking. It is. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, but let's see where the conversation goes. Let me just get these cards ready. And we shall take it from there. So here goes, guys. Want to hear something hilarious? So I was working out, and in between my sets earlier, I went ahead and I messaged my coach slash sibling. And let me tell you, he keeps me motivated. So I sent him a video of my arm development. And he hearted the video, and then he responds with, you should start on a keto diet. I know exactly what he was trying to say. He told me to start a keto diet. If you guys are not aware, you could lose weight fast on keto. And so I knew what he was saying. I knew what he was saying. Okay. I've just been really stubborn. And so I responded to him with, or I could just actually do cardio. And at which point he started cracking up, because I'm sure he knew that I wasn't doing cardio. I'm sure he knew. My genetics and his genetics are very similar. Very, very, very similar. And he's probably like, why this girl still so fluffy? Because I'm not doing cardio at all. So wouldn't you know, I've been getting a lot stronger. Like a lot stronger. I'm getting my strength back. I'm starting to lift close to the same amounts that I was lifting. And I was doing perfectly fine. And then I get on the treadmill. And within the first 3 minutes on the treadmill, I hurt myself. I was like, I'm injured. I can't continue. I was only going to do 20 minutes too. I was only going to do 20 minutes, and I hurt myself in the first 2 minutes. So I was like, I can only do 10. I'm so full of shit, you guys. I'm so full of shit. I make up all these excuses. Oh my gosh. I better get on track with the cardio, because my coach is a savage. He'll just straight up tell me, listen, do you want to win, or do you want to look fat on stage? I want to win. So before he gets to that type of convo, I better do my cardio. Okay. So prophecy fulfilling. Is there something that your soul has been trying to communicate to you for some time now? Running is boring anyway. I don't even run on cardio. I don't run on cardio. I'm trying to preserve my meniscus. I'm so full of excuses. But on a serious note, I'm aware that you don't have to run to lose weight. As a matter of fact, it tends to put you in a catabolic state depending on your heart rate. And all of the muscle that I'm trying to build will just be eaten up by my body anyways. So instead of running, what I do is I put the incline all the way up, And then I walk at a pace where my heart rate is somewhere between 130 and 135 beats per minute. So that keeps me in a state where the fuel that my body will use is actually fat rather than pulling from my muscle. I refuse to even walk. Girl, see, when I put it that way, it's like ridiculous. I mean, I can't do that, Genevieve, because I I do like a version of it, but if I follow it all the way through, like some weird stuff starts to happen to my hormones. But I do a modified version. I'm full of fucking excuses. I just like to stay fluffy. I need to balance. So here's the thing. There's a lot of imbalance that's happening, right? There's a lot of imbalance that's happening. And this imbalance is the very thing that your soul is trying to correct right now. Prophecy fulfilling. So for quite a few of you, you're supposed to be part of something that's connected to collective prophecy. There's events that are about to take place. It's being initiated this year, and it's going to continue for several more years, several more years. So then it becomes a thing of like, for those of you who are not properly positioned, properly aligned with what needs to happen, because you're in a Palladorian contract. For quite a few of you, that Palladorian contract has been activated within the last few months. It's gone active. And this is the very reasoning why, for many people, your ascension mechanics is accelerating. It's going faster and faster. More of your gifts are coming online. They're turning on, and you're starting to experience these things that are, for the most part, unexplainable, right? Possibly having precognitive dreams, possibly suddenly being able to just have a level of clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizance, all of the clairs, having one or more of those turning on for yourself. This is a very interesting period that we've entered into, because a lot of what's needing to happen, it needs to happen because you choose for it to happen. This is not just gonna, you're not just gonna kind of float along anymore. It's time to actively participate in what it is you're trying to do. Like, actively participate. There's a lot of shifting of energy. And I'm noticing the shifting, it's like glitching. I'm wondering why. Is it one specific person? Or is this something where it's happening on the collective level? I don't know. I'm not sure. Not hit, just lifting fun and fast one time per week. That's the problem, Genevieve. It makes me very aggressive. When I do HIRT, I get very aggressive, and I can't stop at one time per week. It becomes something that's prolonged over multiple weeks, and then my fucking hormones go bonkers. I think it increases my cortisol. And then next thing you know, I'm not recovering properly. I wonder why that's coming up. So maybe your comment was pointed out because something that's intended to be intermittent type of intense development, because that's kind of what it is, right? It's an intermittent type thing. You're not doing it every workout. You're just doing it a very specific amount of times, but not overdoing it. I'm wondering if maybe your comment specifically was pointed out because for some of you, you're at risk of overdoing it, trying to be overly focused and overly rushing your development. And I know that's why I can't. When I say I could do a modified thing, I just work out super intense anyways, like super duper intense. I don't do supersets, I do giant sets. And then I push and push and push. And then I'm like, okay, slow down. I got to do that to myself. Maybe that's what you need to do as well. Because no matter what, this collective level of prophecy is going to take place. You guys have heard about the red heifer. Let's not talk about that. I know, that's why I can't do it, Genevieve, because then I get super aggressive, like, yeah, I gotta lift more than I did yesterday. And I go 6 times a week, so that's not good. That's not good. Wait. Sorry, there's multiple things trying to have convo with me. Okay, so in the next 3 weeks, there's going to be an escalation of frequency. For some of you, you're already experiencing it. There are those who are experiencing almost like a vertigo sensation. And that vertigo sensation, nausea, dizziness, lightheadedness. So some of you, it might be you've been exposed to something viral. I doubt it. But I think what's really happening, and this is just my opinion, I think what's really happening is that there's a frequency that's it's a very pronounced frequency. So there is template loading. No, they're not yet sacrificed. No. Mm-mm. 3 were born, 3 heifers. They were born in 2022, red heifers. And they've been being prepared. And I believe it's this year, probably like April time. If I am not mistaken, that's when they'll be sacrificed. And then they'll commence the building, the third building, the building of the third temple. Let's not get into that. Let's not get into that topic because it's not good. It's not good. But here's the thing, life will find a way to continue. It will find a way to continue. Our development will continue. It's like you feel like everything is ending because what you've worked so hard for, what you want so badly, it's suddenly not happening, right? Something unexpected happened. Something that you knew was a potentiality, but unexpected happened. So continuing with the analogy of like working out, you're working so hard to build so much muscle, something unexpected happened, like an injury, and it's like, oh no, right? But you don't just stop working out. You might think about it. You might consider it. You might toy with the idea of no longer continuing because you're upset. But if this is what you really truly wanted, are you really going to stop? Are you going to allow setbacks to stop you? Right? Life is going to find a way to continue. Your progression is going to find a way to continue. I just had a setback, the whole dislocated rib mumbo jumbo. And then it was this thing of like being very upset because I done lost, I think like 15 pounds in 7 days. It wasn't fat, I tell you that much. It wasn't fat that I lost. Oh, don't get me started with how I feel about it. Because that took so long to build. That took so long to build, damn it. And here's the thing, I could either stay in that space, and I had contemplated, just forget it. Why am I even trying? But then I was quick to be like, girl, stop playing yourself. Because if you really do that for several weeks, you let yourself marinate in that negativity, you're going to lose more. And then you're going to be even more pissed because now you have to do more to rebuild all the extra that you lost when you could have just been like, okay, I feel this way. Let me process that and let me keep pushing forward, which is what I ended up doing. And life found a way. So remember how that guy at the gym who now will no longer make eye contact with me. That's right, motherfucker. He will no longer make eye contact with me. Remember how this guy at the gym tried to bully me? He really thought his old ass really fucking thought. No, not all Asians are passive. I know this one isn't, right? And then the second time, he tried to be all intimidating and shit. Like, I don't give a fuck, sir. I got as much testosterone as you. I got a lot of fucking testosterone in my body. I've just always had a lot of testosterone in my body, my whole life. So the next time I saw him, he was still trying to do his little intimidation thing. I don't give a shit. At which point I decided to talk to the management for the gym. And then it turns out I have quite a few things in common with the actual manager. And we were having conversation, and she kind of gave me this aha moment. This aha moment. Like, you guys, I'm a fucking certified nutrition coach. Why am I floundering with my nutrition? Like, what the fuck, girl? Why you're not using your knowledge? Yeah, because I was too busy feeling sorry for myself. That's why. So when you're too busy feeling sorry for yourself, the things that life has already given you, the things you've already worked for and earned, you forget about that. And because you've forgotten that you have that, you don't utilize it. This happens so often for so many people. But that one little conversation that I had with a manager, aha moment occurred, and I modified my diet. Small modification. I just added one thing in. And now I'm able to go ahead and continue to have the fuel, the appropriate level of glucose, carbs during the workout to fuel the whole workout. I'm packing on muscle fast. What I lost, and I would have taken maybe about 2 months to build that back, I have it back already. I modified it a week ago. I have weird genetics. So if you factor in the things that life is already presenting to you, because that was just a conversation, I shouldn't have been able to receive from that the very crucial component that I needed to accelerate my growth. Now I'm seeing, like, for real, it's kind of weird because I'm seeing muscle development at a rapid pace that I normally wouldn't have. I can build muscle fast. Even at my age, I can build it fast. For people who are the same age as me, I could build it maybe 3 times faster than them. But this has accelerated even more. Life gave me what I needed. That was a life circumstance. I wasn't seeking information. I was being petty as fuck. I was. I still am. I can't let it go because I kind of feel like I need to just rub this guy's face in it. Like, fuck you. But no, we're going to leave him alone. Life gave me what I needed through a different circumstance. If you allow yourself to see what it is that's happening right now, you'll see that life is giving you what you need through a different circumstance that's seemingly unrelated. Case in point, I can't. I have polka dot begonias. I fucking love that plant. I have a polka dot begonia. And I got it when it was like this tall. I got it from Whole Foods because I was like, oh my God, you're so fucking cute. You have dots. So I got it. And that was a couple of years ago. And in the years, it's grown to, like, I don't know, 12 feet tall. It's fucking crazy tall. So it was basically crawling up our wall at this point. And then one day, I don't know what possessed me to do it. I went and I grabbed the pot and I just turned it a little bit. And then everything kind of like all the growth up the walls, they got discombobulated and fell. And that snapped one of the longest growths. Some people will say like, oh no, I fucked up, I hurt my plant and this and that. But look, just that one part that broke off, I cut him and I finally potted him. So life gave me what I wanted. I wanted more begonia. So there you go. This little mofo is going to continue to grow, right? If you allow yourself to recognize the ways in which your life is taking the unwanted circumstance to help reposition you and find a way forward, I mean, really beautiful things can happen. But as that's happening, there's some ugly demonic shit that's going to try and get you to spin in place. Just spin in place. Just sit and spin. They're going to try and get you to imagine these situations, and they want you, or it wants you to expand on the fear, to amplify the distorted views, to get you to veer off the road, that the path that you're already on, and it wants to derail your entire progress. Are you going to let that? Are you going to let that? Because if you don't let that happen, right, then you get to see how in control you are of your life. I mean, you can't control anyone else. You really can't. You'll get to see how in control you are of your own life. I think it's time for you to see that. I think what's happening is you're being presented the opportunity to see just how powerful and influential you are for your own life. This isn't something, whatever you're going through, it's not something that needs to be hosed away, right? You're not trying to clean yourself of this. I was talking to this old man at the gym. He's awesome. I always chat with him. He's very, very friendly and very, very nice. So I was chatting with him today, and he was talking about immune function. I know. We were talking about immune function. He was asking me, so, hey, Emmy, are you feeling better now? For the last couple months, when he asked me, I'm like, oh, I'm so exhausted. I don't know what's happening. Right? He's starting to feel bad for me. And today I was like, no, I feel good. I'm getting my strength back. I'm getting my stamina back. Everything is kind of on the up. And just based off of that short convo, and he's like, let me tell you something. And he starts telling me how his son-in-law is a hypochondriac. I think he was trying to say that I'm a hypochondriac. And he starts talking about how he never really got sick as a kid because his grandparents were farmers. And the way he grew up, like, you pull a carrot out of the ground, you dust it off, and you just eat it like that. You don't have to wash it. So he's eaten quite a bit of dirt, and it's given him a very, very robust immune system. I think that's what's happening. I think the dirt that you think you need to hose off, it's actually going to lend some power to your journey. It's going to be the very thing that's helping to cultivate all these different components that add to your immunity, your health. Whatever prophecy is about to take place, and I know exactly what prophecy it is. I'll talk about it in the private chat soon. I'm not going to talk about it publicly. I think that prophecy that involves the collective, affects the collective. I think there are those of us, especially in our community, who are going to play a role in that. It's not necessarily a front and center role, but you're definitely going to be playing a role. And if you're going to play a role, you're going to need to be prepared for your duties. That means life is about to happen for many of us. Life is about to give us the things that we need. Life is about to give us the experiences that will help to cultivate the different portions of our character that will ensure that we can handle what's about to happen this year, because there is an intensification that is going to destabilize so many people. This is not something to be afraid of. This is something that should be used as fuel to keep you motivated so that you can push, 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 push. You have to push yourself. You have to. You want that growth, you want that end result, you have to force that growth. Y'all remember months ago, I was like in tears. I'd be hella emo about this whole fitness journey. I'm not usually that emo. I'm fucking emo about all of it. I was really upset because as hard as I'm working on my hamstrings, it's not growing. It's just not growing. And I spoke to my coach, and what did he say? Force it. How do you force it? By working on it consistently. You have to work on it until it becomes your favorite body part. That was his advice. And so I've been working on it. Every workout involves glute and hamstring. Not a lot, just to really force that development. And you know what happened? It developed. It developed. And I realized I had begun that development inadvertently. You can't keep waiting for the end result to happen immediately, because guess what? When you keep doing that, you're interfering with the process that you're in. You interfere with the very process you're in. So what needs to happen? You really just need to focus on what needs to be done. So I have very weak shoulders, very weak hamstrings. So every single workout, I work out about 6 days a week. It don't matter what day it is. Every day is shoulders and hamstring day. Every day. I could either be bitter about it, or every time I force that muscle to work, I could be like, yes, bitch, do it again. Yes, bitch, do it again, which is what I do. Yeah. Um, guys, one of these days I'm going to record a video and do a voiceover of exactly what's happening silently in my head as I'm lifting weights. Because you will laugh. You will laugh, but it's efficient. It's effective. It keeps me going, and I keep progressing. So regardless of the setbacks you might have, if you can continue to focus on what needs to be focused on, like hyper fixate on that one little thing, you'll go ahead and you'll get results. You'll get the results that you're looking for. Are you willing to? Are you willing to commit? Are you willing to? You see, it's one of those things where you have to understand that one little thing is like the icing on top of the cake that you want to have. Do you want to just have sweet bread, or do you want to have cake? Because in order to turn sweet bread to cake, you have to ice it, right? So going back to a conversation with my coach, he's like, you need to cap your shoulders. I was like, they're so weak. He's like, then you won't win. Are you competing just for the experience? No, the fuck I'm not. He's like, do you want to win? Why you even fucking ask me that? I was offended. Do I want to win? I'm not doing all this shit to take second place. Are you kidding me? I'm not doing all of this to take second place at all. Now, I'm okay if I don't win, but that's not my goal. My goal is not just to have fun. No, I want to dominate. I told you guys, I have a lot of testosterone. So you have to think about what it is you need. You're given all the ingredients by soul to make the icing. I don't know if you guys have ever made icing before from scratch. It's tiring because I use a hand blender, an electric hand blender. And even though it's electric and you can, pump that speed all the way up, it still takes time because air needs to be incorporated. So then my arms start hurting, my shoulders start hurting, and it's a whole thing. But the end result, that end result, right? Are you doing it for the experience? Or are you doing what you're doing for the end result? Oh, I should show you guys this. Hold on. I'm going to show you the exact process, but it's not icing. It looks like icing, but it's not. I'll show you here. Ooh, girl. Girl. That's so good. Here. Her. Oh, wait. Okay. So it's a very similar process. Very, very similar, right? It took me like 30 minutes. 30 effing minutes. Oh, here. This is when it started to cool down already. What this is whipped body butter. I decided I'm going to just make my own toiletries again because I'm over it. All right. So here, this is a whole bunch of body butters that have been melted and other lovely ingredients. And you got to just keep going. It's incorporating air, right? You just got to keep going, keep going, keep going. You see how liquid that is? At first it was super warm and it was nearly clear. So you begin to see how the process goes, because then it got to this point. Go total there. As it starts to cool down even more, you get to this point. You notice how it's changing. It's changing. It went from completely clear to a semi-opaque type yellowish color. And now it's a cream type color. It looks like a milkshake, right? Okay. And then I had to keep going. I was so frustrated already. I was so frustrated. So then we got to this point. This is like maybe 40 minutes later. Look at that. The peaks are starting to form. The color changed because air is trapped in there. So the color changed, right? That took a lot of effort. It will not go back to its original state again unless I remelt everything. It will not go back to that original state. Now, let's look at the end result, which I'm telling you, it took me like a fucking hour. It did. It was worth it. My skin's been fabulous. This right here, that's the whipped body butter. It's like icing and it just melts on your skin. I love it. No fragrance, no nothing. And then on top of that, because again, I'm putting in the effort for the results that I want. What results do I want? Not just a decrease in my toxin load. What results am I looking for? an increase in my health. So I take that same batter, that same recipe, and I add tinctures that I made from scratch with ingredients that I'm very familiar with how to use it. So then what happened? Do you guys see how, y'all, my jawline be, ooh, tight as fuck, bitch? I'm sorry. You see that? I haven't lost any weight. Where's my second chin? Where's my second and third chin? Do you see? Because I added tinctures, homemade tinctures that help to flush my toxins out. Tinctures that work very well even for like clogged lymph nodes, whole bunch of different things. I'm actually going to be giving some of this to those who come to the 2-day event, because I want you guys to be able to continue the work that we initiate at the quantum potential event, you know? So yeah, look at that. Notice how the puffiness under, I'm not wearing makeup under my eyes. See the puffiness? It's not concealer. My lymphatic system is consistently draining. Consistently. Love it. Right? So it's about taking the knowledge that you have. Your soul and your life is giving you the information you need. And then not only doing that, not only receiving the knowledge, but applying that knowledge in such a way that is of the utmost benefit for you. So on my birthday, I just wilded out. I'm hella sensitive to salt. That fucked me up. If you put salt in my food, that will fuck me up hardcore. My hands will be all swollen. My face is all swollen. It looks like I got in a fight. I have like a third chin. Like it's fucked. My birthday, my son made me a charcuterie board to hold me over until all their other food prep was ready. Man, I ate the shit out of that cheese. And I had turkey roni. Yeah. And I had stuffed green olives. And I was like, I'm just wilding out. And then I had barbecue with barbecue sauce. I was like, ooh, the salt. And you know what? Because of the stuff that I was placing on my skin, I was dermally dosing myself. I didn't gain any weight. That should have been easily 8 pounds of water. Like my body don't play. My body be like, all right, bet. I did not gain any weight. In fact, if I remember right, I dropped like 0.6 pounds. I was like, oh, girl. If you allow your life knowledge to be applied, you have to understand what that knowledge is and how to use it, and then apply it. Like, ooh, 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 ooh. You can start living a life that you've been afraid to live. You know what I'm saying? Because I'd be like, did you put salt in that? Oh, no, I can't have that. That will fuck me up. Right? Allowing yourself to let go of the things that cause disharmony within you so you can continue to progress. So we did an experiment. There are certain sounds, if my husband hears those sounds while he's taking his blood pressure, or if I vex him while he's taking his blood pressure, that shit will shoot all the way up. Right? And he thought I was sensitive like that, because I'd be getting real like, and so I forgot what he did, but like it really pissed me off. And then he took my blood pressure. Perfect. My blood pressure was fucking perfect. I was like, I'm not emo like that. I feel and I let go. Feel and let go. Don't hold that shit in. Don't. Part of what needs to happen right now is letting go of the things that are negatively impacting your process. Feel and let go. That's it. It's very hard to do. But once you master that, you get to the next part. The next part is when you're actively, consciously choosing how your energy will be utilized. For me, my energy is only allowed to be utilized for things that will grow me, further my healing, or elevate the potentiality my soul is already presenting to me. Because fuck that shit. I'm not going to waste my energy on bullshit. I'm just not. And people might tell you, people in your environment might tell you like, "Oh, you think you're too good now? You think you're better than everyone?" No, I think I'm just better than the version of me that would allow you to siphon my fucking energy. The people who are the most toxic in your life, they're the ones who will be the most offended when you begin to protect your energy, when you begin to explore your boundaries and enforce them. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. I had because fuck that at this point. I had a relative who all of their actions tells me they don't really want me around, right? It's okay. That's fine. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. But for whatever reason, this relative just really never really, they don't really want me around. And I was trying and trying. I suck at keeping in touch. So the fact that I'm trying to engage in conversation, hey, how's your day? What are your plans today? That should say a lot. It's a relative. That means they've known me our entire lives. And yeah, that relative kind of just felt like, I don't feel like answering you. Okay. So let me respect your choice. Let me pull back. It's not about punishing. It's not about trying to prove a point. Let me use my energy for the things that I need to get done, not sitting around waiting for you and wondering, did I do something? I know I didn't do shit. I know I didn't do shit. So let me just use my energy in a way that will continue whatever work I need to do. And the moment I pulled my energy back, how come you're not answering? Because, bitch, I'm not fucking playing with you. We're grown. We're grown. I'm not going to play this game. I know you don't want me around, but you're just upset that now I'm not throwing myself at you. Some of you already know who this type of person is in your life. Where the moment you begin to respect that they don't want you around and you pull back, they try and tug you back in. I'm sorry, we're not playing this game. So for a while, it was this thing of I'm not going to answer anything that doesn't need to be answered because I'm not going to pretend. I'm not upset, but I'm not going to pretend. But I'm still willing to help should you ever need anything. If there's ever any emergency, you let me know. I'm coming right then and there. And then I began to realize, like, why do I even need to do that? They have their own life. They have their own circle. They have their own support system. Let me just pull all the way back and not leave the door open a crack for all kind of ugly shit to get through. It's not about being angry. It's not about being hateful. It's about understanding I'm here to do very specific things. And those things involve the collective. So I don't have the time, the energy, the patience, or the desire to play with people. I just don't. I have a lot of things I need to do. I don't feel rushed. I don't feel pressed. I just feel like right now I need to use my energy and my focus intentionally. And, it just is what it is. It just is what it is, right? It just is what it is. So you need to decide, and Some of you are very into the spiritual thing. So you'll have a circumstance happen, and that circumstance really is testing your resolve. But then you convince yourself that's a sign. I'm being mean. I need to reach out. Is it a sign that you're being mean and you need to reach out? You need to allow it back in your life? Or is it your soul giving you the opportunity to double down on your decision, to prioritize yourself? Because prophecy has been initiated. Like for me, one time, I was so fucking mad. I was so mad at my brother. I was trying to FaceTime my brother um, to check on him, see if he's okay. And he didn't answer. And as I'm trying to clear out my FaceTime, my fucking phone, rude as hell, it accidentally, as I was trying to clear it out, instead of clearing out, it called a group chat that I had already bowed out of a while ago. That should tell you how much I use my FaceTime or even phone calls. Um, so as soon as I'm like, oh no, and I hung it up. And then, of course, immediately they start to FaceTime. I'm not answering shit. It's not a sign. It's not a sign. I felt it in my heart. It was this like, oh, kind of feeling. It wasn't a like, oh my God, but I miss you so much. Mm-mm. Learn to tell the difference between the two. I think the main thing that people don't realize, the difference between the two, where creation is telling you, okay, enough is enough, you need to reach out, versus creation asking you, how committed are you to removing the toxic bullshit drama from your life? The difference between the two, I did not remove myself from that chat because I was angry and wanting to punish people with my absence. You see, when that's your reasoning, that's usually when your soul is like, okay, enough is enough. Stop with the petty shit. And then it'll do stuff like that. I knew I removed myself because I no longer wanted to be in a state where I was feeling internally destabilized by the fact that I can feel you don't like me. I can feel you don't want me around. Yet you keep trying to pull me in. I'm confused. I'm fucking autistic for real. Like, I don't read social cues like that. I don't understand. So then it was a thing of, am I being dramatic? Am I this and that? And it was destabilizing me. That's abuse. Do I need to say it again? When you have people in your life that you love, people that claim to love you, when they consistently try and make you feel off kilter within yourself in order to have some type of hold on you, that is motherfucking abuse. And I just don't want to be abused anymore. I'm no longer loyal to maltreatment. Say that sentence several times, first silently within yourself, and then out loud. See how your life changes. If you say it enough, you'll begin to believe it. And once you begin to believe it, you'll begin to have zero tolerance for when people treat you like shit just because they can. I'm no longer tolerant to any of that shit. Doesn't offend me, but I will move accordingly. I don't need any of that. prophecy is being initiated this year. It's already begun. Actually, it began last year, tail end of last year, and it's being amplified and solidified through to early summer. There's going to be what it's going to be, and we're going to need to understand how to move through this. It's been initiated, right? Whatever it is, I'm going to preface this. I don't want, okay, forget what I don't want or do want. It is not my intention to offend people or to make it seem as though I am speaking in a derogatory manner regarding people's beliefs, right? So I'm going to be vague in what I'm communicating, but I want to say that first and foremost. There is this dark feminine energy, and it's being called into full force. This dark feminine energy is a destructive one. There are those, especially on other forms of social media, specifically TikTok. They've been convinced that that dark feminine energy is their power. It is a powerful energy, but most people don't know how to navigate that, how to properly, responsibly, and healthfully harness that type of energy. And so it becomes a very slippery slope. That slippery slope often causes the person to slide onto the left-handed path without realizing it. By the time they realize it, it's already corrupted and corrupted them and caused an addiction to power. So y'all have to be careful during this period. The thing that's been initiated, it ties heavily into that dark, feminine, distorted energy. There is one specific goddess that's being pulled into this. Damn. That's going to cause a lot of issues if I say that. I know I'm not intending to be offensive, but that's going to cause a lot of issues if I say that. Michael goes, were you given the message to analyze the validity of it? Or were you given the message to simply speak it out? Okay. It's Lilith. Lilith, the first wife of Adam, the mother of the succubi and incubi. You'll see a lot of stuff, especially on TikTok, of folks who have been scorned, they've been hurt, they've been maltreated, and it's a bad circumstance for them. And because of that experience, they turn to Lilitu. You'll see them say how Lilitu protects them, and she goes and attacks the people who have done harm to them, and all this and all that. I don't know that they're inaccurate in that. She's known to do those things. She's known. And you'll have some of them say to you, or say in their video, how you can't choose her. You have to invoke her and hope that she chooses you. And that once you become a daughter of Lilith, then you're just like, you're in your dark feminine energy and you're so powerful and this and that. Yeah, you do enter into that dark feminine energy. It does greatly increase the potency of your efforts. It does. Exactly, blissful, but at what cost? Once she claims you as a daughter, you are a living succubus. Do you know what that means? Now, there's positive and negative attributes to all of the gods and goddesses throughout history. There is. I can see how Lilith, she would go to war for her children. I get that, you know what I mean? Like, I would too for my kids. I would too. Absolutely. But the distortion in that, the need to dominate, the need for vengeance, that's what fuels her. So when she chooses you as a daughter, you are now a tool, because all of her succubi, incubi children are her tools. They are her weaponry in order to continue to wage a war against the daughters and sons of Eve. So, what is it that you're really getting yourself into? What is it? What is it? That's this upside down goddess energy. Now, I don't know if you guys will find this lore on Lilith somewhere on the internet or on some papyri or, esoteric texts of some kind. This I just know from my memories being intact. Lilith has a very sad story. The distortion in her view, it came from one of the watchers of old corrupting her, fornicating with her. The original I would call it the original defiler. He used to come to Lilith in the garden and push a narrative that drove a wedge between her and Adam. It greatly distorted her view, and then it gave her information that caused her to violate divine law. That's why she became cursed. So it's like, it's from that hardship, that unfair, unjust thing that she lived through, that resulted in this continuation of her existence. All she had to do was allow herself to heal. But rather than allowing that healing process to take place, what she instead continues to do is wage a war. It's an internal circumstance projected externally into the collective template. She works very closely with a lot of the principalities. She is usually used as a precursor. So, again, I don't know if you guys will find this information online. This is just all stuff that I know. I have quite a bit of my memories intact from times where I existed as a demonologist. I'm very familiar with the Greater and Lesser Keys of Solomon, along with quite a few other grimoires and ancient texts. I'm very familiar. And it's just this thing of what I've observed and what I have come to recognize as a continuing pattern. They use her, Lilith, the principalities use her as a precursor. She's injected into a circumstance and she's allowed to use her fallen matriarchal code to then destabilize the person from the inside out. It creates conflict between the individual and their entire environment. Familial conflict, relationship conflict, conflict with intra and intrapersonal circumstance, a lot of just destabilization. I've even coined the term parasitic dysregulation syndrome, PDS, parasitic dysregulation syndrome. She's usually the precursor that primes the field in order to initiate that process. You know, people who develop spiritual psychosis, she initiates that. She's very, very, very involved in spiritual psychosis. Yes. Typically, when she initiates spiritual psychosis cycles, what ends up happening is she will cause that individual to hyperfixate and project in a completely irrational fear onto the very person that could help that individual. She gets rid of those people first. You guys, I don't know if you were here the last time I live streamed, some random ass individual was like, I'm gonna something a Rico kid. What the fuck? I was like, you're fucking crazy. And the reason I was so offended by that energy, it's Lilith energy. Hyper fixated, demonic Lilith energy. I'm not saying Lilith is demonic. I'm saying that was the aspect of her existence she was fully embodying. So now that person is experiencing spiritual psychosis and they're accusing me of, I don't know if they said I stole their money or stole their soul. I don't even remember. It was just some crazy ass shit. I was just like, yeah, no, you're fucking out. You're out. Good luck. I'm not going to help you. Good luck. And that's what Lilith tries to do. She will insert herself into someone's morphogenetic template if they don't. I don't know. To me, it's common sense, but my husband consistently tells me my common sense is not very common. So one of the ways that Lilith can easily insert herself into your life, if you are into promiscuity, I'm not trying to shame anyone. Y'all do whatever you want to do. That's your business. But I'm just letting you know, if you are into promiscuity, or if your partner is promiscuous, even if it's secretly promiscuous, the likelihood of like person infecting person, infecting person, and then it finally reaching you is extremely high. When you have sexual relations with an individual, it doesn't matter what type, it gives the opportunity to direct port inject demonic code into your system. It bypasses your auric shields because it's internal injection. Yeah. Yep. Demonic things are very smart. And people, I can always tell when someone's full of shit when they start talking about demons. I'm like, oh, I'm a demon slayer and this and that. Okay, well, they're energy. So I don't know how you're killing energy. That's weird. Or they'll talk as though they're so far superior, like so much more intelligent than these demonic beings who have been alive for eons. They've been in existence, essentially alive for eons, learning and growing and ascending, just like human beings. But unlike us, they don't have to reset their memory every like 100 years, every 50 to 100 years. They're just continuing forward. So it would be the equivalent of having a brain that has cataloged the amount of information that was lost in the fire of the library in Alexandria. Think on that. They know more about human function than humans do. Think on that. Really think on that. The reason that I can have a leg up on something demonic many of my memories were left intact, and I was heavily, heavily tormented as a child through my young adulthood by demonic things. So I'm fully aware of their modus operandi. That's the only reason. If I didn't have all those memories intact, I'd be shit out of luck. All of this stuff is leading to something profound. You can't just allow yourself to be afraid. And I know quite a few of you are probably like, holy shit, like what? Oh my God. I'm giving you this information so you can come to terms with some of the different processes that have already been initiated. And I don't mean come to terms like you have no choice, this is going to be forced on you. I mean, come to terms with the reality that this is the very pathway that we must travel to get to the other side of our oppression and separation as a people. Excuse me. Do demons have a link to psychopaths? Psychopaths have a tendency to have a disconnect, a glitch within their etheric system. So it's somewhere within the fascia, the nervous system, the chakras, or the morphogenetic template where all of that anchors into. And in that glitching, the consciousness that was meant to inhabit that body, live in that vessel for that lifetime, it glitches in and glitches out. So you'll see the eyes change. And it's not that, oh, their eyes get dark. No, their face will change. For whatever reason, they don't look like themselves anymore. For people who have been in DV type relationships, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like it's them, but it's not them. And you know you're in danger. It's like that. So when it glitches out and the actual consciousness that's supposed to live in that body kind of goes offline for a moment, something slides in. And when it slides in, that's a violation of sovereign space. That's usually something demonic. Because by the laws of sovereignty, you are not to invade another sovereign land. And that's what it is. It's a sovereign land invasion. So they'll be in that state for a period. And then eventually the consciousness that was designated that vessel will fight its way back and it'll push it out. Or that demonic thing will be done with what it's trying to do. It's a short burst mission objective. It will complete that task and it will release so that consciousness can come back. Yeah. It's just I'm definitely not I'm not pleased with having this as one of my subspecialties. I don't like this subject matter. I don't. But unfortunately for me, I'm just very well suited for it. I have the tactical skills, etheric tactical skills. I have the capacity to reach the levels of frequency, and I have specific memories intact that make me extremely formidable in my knowledge of how to counteract their modus operandi, so yeah. So cycles in reverse, this upside down goddess energy, she's being utilized to initiate upside down cycles, right? So that's definitely something that you need to kind of prepare for. If you can mentally prepare for that and come to terms with some of the things that are happening, and when I say, again, come to terms, I'm not saying learn to accept it. I'm saying understand that specific processes have been initiated. So you need to start allowing yourself to give yourself permission to take the appropriate action for whatever it is you are trying to accomplish during a period of elevated adversity, because that's what we're entering into. The dream walker dreams the collective good illusions. Oh my fucking God. Okay. I've never received this message for this card. This card usually doesn't mean that to me. But I read Dreamwalker. Lilith has a very elevated capacity to enter into dreams. If you're a lucid dreamer, you need to start being very aware when something doesn't feel right, when something is off in your dream, and you don't quite know. You need to begin asking questions out loud in the dream. Quite a few people are able to control their dreams, like consciously aware that they can control their dreams. I would say that everyone has a capacity to control their dreams, unless, of course, they're technically an organic portal. They won't be able to have that capacity because of the blocked pathways. But short of being an organic portal, you should be able to control your dreams. You just don't realize that you have that authority. So as you begin to receive this message, if you have a dream and it feels off, like you have a loved one in your dream and it feels off, you need to just ask out loud, who are you really? Years ago, I had this dream because I'm like obsessed with my husband. I had this dream that it was my husband. And I don't remember exactly what's happening anymore, but I do remember that my husband, he looked exactly like my husband, acted like my husband, sounded like him, smelled like him, everything. But something felt weird. I couldn't quite place it. And then my husband kissed me, and I was like, who are you? I know for a fact you're not my husband. Who are you? And immediately that dream was ended. Something was trying to mimic my husband and was damn good at it. Was damn good at it. And my assumption is they were trying to harvest some of my code so that they could reverse engineer an entry point. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was a very, very accurate mimic. Very accurate mimic. Yep. But because there was some quality to the way he kissed me, I was like, nope, who are you? I don't think so. Absolutely not. Get off me. Yuck. You have to ask out loud, and you have to not be apologetic about the fact that you're questioning. If Lilith is going to be involved, if Lilith is the dream walker, which is basically the message I'm getting, she's really fucking smart. She is really, really smart. She would be like a master spy. Actually, I don't know what a master spy would that be? I don't know. But she would basically be like top level secret agent. She'll watch you for a period of time before she ever tries to access you. She will gather the most personal, most intimate details of your internal process before she ever makes contact. By the time she makes contact, she knows you inside and out. So how do you combat this? By getting to know yourself. No longer being afraid of what you will see if you look yourself in the eyes in the mirror. No longer being afraid of what's in your shadow aspects. You have to stop being scared of yourself. All these spiritualists and spiritual folks who are so fucking afraid of the dark. Oh, the light, the light, the light. They're unbalanced and typically unhinged. They like to attack other people for no fucking reason. Oh, because I identified you as dark. Shut the fuck up. For real. I'm serious. Shut the fuck up. They like to attack other people. Why? Well, what I've learned in life is those who are truly strong, they don't attack others. They will put you in your place if they need to. They will. But they don't just like randomly attack other people, right? What type of people attack others, especially with no provocation? Weak, cowardly people, fakers. So just leave that alone. Use your energy for your growth. Use your time and your energy to develop a relationship between the self and the soul. They're going to be messing with your dreams. The Ice Queen, ideas preserved, non-action, entitlement. Ooh, but it's in reverse. To me, this is like a message. Here's a picture. To me, this is like a message of trying to tap into that normally secure channel that allows you to communicate with your higher self, and inserting false wisdom, fake bullshit, right? You know, I don't know though. I don't want to release that. It's so easy for people to claim all sorts of things. It's a whole another thing to actually be able to do what they claim, right? So this is kind of reading as though someone is going to try and present as though they are providing you wisdom. They're sharing their wisdom with you. But are they? Be very, very careful during this period. And this period is going to last for a couple months, at the very least, a couple months. Be very, very careful in this period, because something wants to use others to try and corrupt your view of yourself and your process in order to derail you. I don't know who that is, but you need to figure it out. When the time comes, you need to be able to see exactly what's happening. I'm not going to be there. So it wants you to be highly reactive, because non-action, but it's in reverse. That's telling me something's going to try to get you into a highly reactive state. And they want you into some like internal mental chaos, overwhelmed, overstimulated, all of those things. So if you were here earlier when I showed how I was making whipped body butter, with that, I said that unless you melt everything again completely, which is going to be hard because that's a big ass bowl of a solid matter. Unless you remelt everything completely, that whipped body butter is never going back to its original state. The air bubbles will remain in there, and it should remain like a icing type consistency. Ice Queen, but it's in reverse. So that's telling me something. Someone, some circumstance, something is going to try and apply a tremendous amount of heat, trying to get you real angry, real reactive, extremely overwhelmed, exhausted, because now I'm being shown a candle being burned on both ends, right? So those type of things, that's what it's going to try and do to undo your progression. You can't allow that. You cannot allow that. But what am I going to do? Stop giving passive permission. There was a lady that, this was, I think, last year, a lady hopped onto my TikTok live stream, and she's like, "You're wrong." I mean, I don't even know who this lady is. She's like, you're wrong. According to the Bible, blah, 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 blah. Okay, first and foremost, calm down. Sugar tits. No, calm down because I'm one of you. Okay. I was indoctrinated and had theology class every week from kindergarten all the way through to high school. I'm baptized and confirmed. Chill the fuck out. She was very adamant that we were going to have to all believe her, agree with her stance. And I simply just said, okay, well, what if I tell you I'm not going to agree with you and you're not going to change my mind? What now? Nothing. As a matter of fact, she backpedaled. She's going, no, I'm just saying, no, I don't care what you're saying. I don't agree with you. You're not going to change my mind. What now? What are you going to do about it? She didn't know what to say. So she just stopped commenting. What happened there? I completely revoked any passive permission that she assumed I would give. She probably saw I'm Asian and thought I was docile. I'm so not fucking docile. I'm full-blown confrontational if it strikes my fancy to be. Yeah. So what do we need to do? Does that mean you're being told by soul to be confrontational? No. But it does mean your soul is telling you to stop giving passive permission in your silence, in your hesitation, in your attempt to make excuses for people. All of that gives someone who's already predatory in nature that little bit of like, it's okay for them to go ahead and go full-blown predatory towards you. Try and dominate you, try and force agreement, impress themselves upon you. No, absolutely not. So this dude tried to come up to me like, I don't know, a week or two ago. Older gentleman, right? And it's always a specific type of character that does this and assumes because I'm Aishan that I'll be fucking passive. And I was working out on the cables and he comes up to me. He interrupts my workout. He comes up to me to inform me that I'm inconsiderate and that he's been watching me for 45 minutes working out on the cables and that I'm fucking rude and this and that. And I was like, you've been watching me for 45 minutes. What the fuck? What the fuck? That was my thought. Like, that's weird. And I was basically saying to him, if you needed to use some of the equipment that I'm using, you could have just informed me nicely and I would have like, okay, go ahead. I'll modify a little bit and let you use it. And he started to walk away in order to dismiss me. So I got loud. Conversation's not done. I'm going to talk louder and it's going to force you to respond. So he had to respond, right? He had to respond. He was using the same fucking thing. He was already on the cable right beside, like, why are you even coming up to me when you're on a cable? The reason I go to that gym is because no one's there. I'm being inconsiderate to the 15 people that are here. And he was trying to be intimidating. No, the fuck, no. Do you need one of the weights that I'm using? Because he said I was hogging up all the weights. Really? An 8-pound, a 10-pound, and a 20-pound? All of those have duplicates over on the rack. You need the exact one that I'm using? He couldn't say anything. He couldn't say anything. You don't think it's odd that you're admitting that you've been watching a female working out for 45 minutes in a gym? And then he tried to stand there like, I don't give a fuck. And then he tried to shame me with, you need to get your face out the mirror. Okay, first off, the mirror is like 15 feet away. I can barely see 5 feet away from me, even with my glasses on. I have binocular vision issues. I can't fucking see shit. It just so happens that I look straight ahead as I'm trying to work on posing because I move awkward and I need to get comfortable. I need to do that every single time I'm at the gym instead of being ashamed of people watching me. So I'm not tripping. I'm not tripping. We can have full-blown confrontation. And I know I was fully in my power because at no point did I say bad words. I did not speak like a pirate that day. And when I got loud, I said, "Excuse me, sir. Were you needing one of the weights that I'm using? Did you need a lighter weight?" Fuck that shit. When you let people think they can get away with the way they're treating you, and he made it a point to work out directly in front of me. Now, I know he ain't going to work out near me now. What? So that I have to see you if I look in the mirror? I'm still going to pose. I'm going to tooch my ass out. What? And you ain't going to tell me shit about it. And you know what else? As a matter of fact, I'm going to modify my workout and I'm going to go right behind you and do deadlifts. I'm going to show you I can fucking deadlift twice your weight. Little ass me. So that's what I did. And then I made it a point to speak to all the OG regulars in that gym because I'm an OG regular too. It's just I was gone for 2 months. And that's when he began to realize, oh, I can't pick on this one. No, the fuck you can't. No, the fuck you can't. And the best part was when another older gentleman, not quite as old, who's swole as fuck, like the Hulk type swole. He's like, "Hey, come here. So-and-so at the front, is someone picking on you?" And I turned. I know he was watching me in the mirror. I said, "Yeah, that dude right there. It was him right there. Yeah." You think I'm going to be ashamed? I'm not going to be ashamed. I revoked all the passive permission. Now, he don't look in my direction when he enters the gym. He looks down and he goes and works out a different part of the gym. Yeah. May he never forget that Asians come in a variety of attitudes. Next time, test the waters first to make sure before you try and bully an Asian woman, she's not spicy as fuck. Because, I'm very spicy. If you have shame in declaring that you have a right to exist, I pay my gym dues just like he does. Those are the type of people that will be utilized. These miserable ass people, they will be utilized by demonic things to keep poking and poking and poking you. So I'm a member of multiple gyms. You know what happened? Like the other gym I go to actually has better equipment. And I had been going to that gym primarily at that point. You know what happened? I'm returning back to my old gym and going there primarily. Why? To assert my motherfucking dominance. You will not run me out of this gym, sir. And if you don't watch yourself, I'll make it very unfucking comfortable for you to exist in the same space that I'm occupying. There is something very uncomfortable to insecure males when a very tiny female is clearly much stronger than you and also sexy as fuck. I don't say that from a space of ego. I say that from a space of knowing my effect on the environment I'm occupying. I don't classify myself as sexy. I classify myself as fucking awkward. But I know how to play that up if I want to. And I will make you so fucking uncomfortable. Forever thinking you could try and dominate me by way of intimidation? Bitch, do you not know who my father is? I'm not scared of him either. You have to have that type of attitude. You can't give people permission because guess what? Guess who's no longer feeling super demonic? Mr. Emasculated. Mr. Emasculated. I made sure to take a selfie of myself as he was walking past me in the back. And I made sure he saw me posing. I don't take selfies, but I sure as hell did that day. Why? But simply because you told me to get my face out the mirror, a mirror I can't even fucking see. So let me do the exact opposite of what you're trying to shame me into complying with. Don't hurt nobody for me to take selfies of myself. Not at all. So your choices: be intimidated, be shamed or guilted into a space of passive permission. And if you're not going to correct someone's erroneous behavior towards you, that's giving them passive permission, right? The kind of person that I typically am, if I know I've upset you or offended you unintentionally, I'm very quick to be like, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize, right? For whatever reason, as soon as he said that, I was like, let me take my motherfucking earbud off. What? I didn't hear you. Could you repeat that? He thought I was just like, I really didn't. No, I heard you the first time, motherfucker. I just want to see if you have the balls to say it again. Oh, you do? It's on. I got big balls too. I got big fucking balls too. Probably bigger than his. Probably bigger than his, right? The dragon's duel: inner conflict, morality, conscious choice, but it's in reverse. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. That inner conflict. You need to turn that around. You can't allow yourself during this period of prophecy initiation. You can't allow yourself to live in such a way where that inner conflict is being initiated by someone else, someone outside of you. Like, no. Your problems are yours. They're not mine. And I made sure to ask the staff several times, has anyone ever complained about me? Because I want to make sure that, I'm not oblivious to how I'm affecting other gym goers. Like, I'm a very considerate person in real life. So I made sure first. Now that inner conflict, that's not mine at all. And I will continue to go to that gym. He's been pushing his workouts later and later. How'd that feel, sir? How'd that feel? Now you need to modify your schedule. Yep. Good job. You did it to yourself. I don't start shit with people. I don't. The big picture, angelic help. I think something definitely wants you in a space where you're not looking at the big picture, but with your soul letting you know that you need to zoom out when conflict begins so that you can see what's actually happening. I think you'll have a better opportunity to not fall into whatever ensnarement. It's not enmeshment. The first word that I was told is ensnarement. And then very quickly after, I heard the word enmeshment. I'm wondering if it's, for some, the way they'll try to ensnare you is through enmeshment. Let's see. A psychological term that describes a relationship where boundaries are unclear or non-existent. It can occur between family members or romantic partners. Feeling responsible, or these are signs. Feeling responsible for another person's emotions, prioritizing another person's needs over your own. I don't know if you guys know this, but empaths have a higher tendency to experience enmeshment in most of your connections. Having difficulty making decisions without consulting others, taking it personally when someone in the family moves away, struggling to recognize your own feelings, feeling anxious about being without the other person. So I think for some, or probably most, the way you'll be ensnared by demonic attempts to derail your progression is through enmeshment, through some of your closest relationships. The High Lady of love and compassion, reverence, kindness, consideration. You need to apply all that to yourself first. Reverence, kindness, consideration. You need to treat yourself as a holy artifact. That's very specific. Why that? Hold on. Holy artifact. An object with religious significance that's preserved and venerated. Ooh, to preserve your energy and venerate yourself, right? Holy artifacts can also be used as daily reminders of a person's belief and identity. So you need to be your own reminder of your divinity, of the sacredness of your journey, the purity of your existence. For some people, you forget that you still have the purity of your existence just because impure things have happened to you, have been done to you, or whatever it is, doesn't suddenly make you impure. When you allow others to commingle their energies with you, that can begin to taint your energy. Absolutely. But having experiences that are designed to help you to learn and grow does not suddenly pollute your energy. I mean, there is potential, but it doesn't automatically mean that it does. The hungry ghost, obsessions, scarcity consciousness, attachment. This is another way that something is going to try and negatively impact your journey by obsessions, scarcity consciousness, and attachment. Whatever is being removed from your life, you need to just allow it to be removed. You need to just, let go. Open your hand, let go. After the storm. So we're entering the storm. We're entering into the storm, and rather than focusing on the light, you need to focus on the areas of shadow. Danger will not come head on from a well-lit space. It's in the nooks and crannies where there are shadows that danger can hide and wait for you to be in proximity. So we as a collective, we're entering into a storm. This is going to be a period where there's a lot of intensity, a lot of hardship starting to occur. You need to focus on the areas where things become dimmed and muddled. Those are areas that need your attention the most. When you've already identified someone as being very, very toxic, being like a time waster, an energy drain, whatever negative thing it is, you need to just accept that. It's not your job to heal them or fix them. They are who they are. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Instead, shift your attention to the things that you need to actually work on and have the authority to improve upon. There was something that I wrote yesterday. Hold on. I was having an important conversation. Let me find it. Hold on. The struggle is what forms the strength. Oof. the struggle, it's what forms the strength. It's in that struggle that you begin to realize just how strong you actually are, just what you're capable of. So maybe that's why we're needing to experience the coming to fruition of prophecy. It's not good. It's not good. Some of you will be receiving instructions from your soul. These instructions will feel, for some, almost nonsensical. Like, why would I do that? That doesn't make sense. Where is this thought coming from? As long as you know the difference between a communication from your soul and some type of outside source, if you know for sure it's your soul, you need to listen to it. Okay. Like, I've been being given specific instruction that seems very nonsensical. Like, why would I do that? Because I have to. Because I have to. That involves securing specific details so that should the need ever arise, everything will still be okay. You guys were entering into a questionable period. There's no other way to put it. I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to give you a false sense of security. I don't want to be the very thing that makes you feel so betrayed once you see how this all actually begins to play out. I'd rather, in advance of the experiences, give you actual information and let you be upset with me for a short period as you kind of try and wrap your mind around the potential, so that when it actually happens, you've already had the meltdown. You've already had the fear-based logic running through your head. And now you're kind of like, oh, this is what she was talking about. Well, okay, let's see what we need to do. Let's just get things done. Right? Your soul, it's been trying to prepare you. So my soul will try and prepare me well in advance of when the collective will experience the things that are going to be experienced. So several years ago, I don't know why. I mean, when it was happening, I didn't know why. It didn't make sense. But looking back, it absolutely makes sense. Several years ago, I was made homeless. And then I remained homeless by choice for like 3 years. It wasn't punishment. It was preparation. I was talking to my husband about it the other day. Sorry, turning my heater back on. I was talking to my husband about it the other day, and it's like all of that stuff that we've been through as a family, all of the displacement, all of like the transients, all of that, it was preparation. It was preparation. I know without any shadow of a doubt, should we need to hightail it out of here, we're fully capable. We're fully capable. We can live life on the road. We're fully capable. And those are years when my children were toddlers. Yep. For whatever reason, soul has already conditioned myself and my entire family to be highly adaptable. See, here's the thing. When you enter into a period or environment of tremendous conflict, tremendous stress, tremendous danger even, you need to have specific skill set. And it's not what you think. Some people are like, oh, I have the pew pews and, Okay, good for you. There's quite a few people who have pew pews. That don't mean shit. Oh, I've taken some training classes and yada yada. Good for you. This still doesn't mean shit. If you can't remain functional in times of high stress, if you lack the skill of adaptability, you will fail. You know, people are like, "Oh, I go to the range every week." Okay, let me see what you do at the range. The whole fucking paper is riddled in holes. You know what that tells me? And they're like so proud of it because one hole hit the bullseye. One out of like 100 rounds hits the bullseye. You know what that tells me? You fucking suck. I would not choose you to be on my team. Absolutely not. You are a fucking liability, bro. That will waste limited resources and you're endangering the whole group. Yeah, nope. No, sir. I would not choose you to be part of my team. So, if you were to show me your targets have tight groupings, clover patterns, you could do that at 100 yards. Okay, is it stationary? I want to see you on an actual field. I want to see what you do in a technical exercise. Moving targets. Targets that fight back. I want to see what happens when you get stressed out. You know what happens when I get stressed out? You know what happens when I detect credible threat to my safety? I don't freak out. I get real fucking calm. It's weird. I get real calm. Everything begins to move in slow motion. And I promise you, every single message from soul, from what supplies to bring, how long I should expect to be out, I receive all those messages. One time we needed to travel like 1,800 miles in about a 24-hour period. So that's straight, no stops. You go travel straight. And as we were preparing to go, it only took us maybe 30, 40 minutes to load hella kids and all the things we need. And as we were leaving, I was like, you know what? I need zip ties and that wrenchy thingy that locks. That's not an Allen wrench. I don't fucking know what it's called. It's a vice grip. A vice grip, right? And I don't know why we need this. I'll put in the compartment of my front passenger door. All right, let's go. And then it was like super late at night, super early morning time. My husband pulls over. He's like, something's wrong. He goes and checks. Luckily, he knows about vehicles. And he's like, man, we need blah, blah, blah. I don't fucking have that shit. In the middle of nowhere. No phone reception. I said, no, I brought it. He goes, you brought that? Yes. It's in my door. Let me get it for you. I got it and I gave it to him. He fixed what needed to be fixed and we were back on the road. Many years ago, Soul told me to evac to Mexico. I don't know why. So we're in Mexico. Before we enter Mexico, I'm like, you need 2 extra fuel filters. And he's like, we don't need that. Yes, you do. You need 2 extra fuel filters. And he goes, but we just got the fuel filter replaced, literally just replaced. We don't need that. Just fucking buy 2 extra fuel filters. So to quiet me down, he went ahead and he bought 2 extra fuel filters. We're in the middle of rural Mexico, like in the heart of rural Mexico. And I was driving, he was taking a nap. And as it was a slight incline, nothing severe, the engine then just revs and there's no traction. We're starting to slide back. I was like, oh my God. I immediately pull over. My husband's like, what did you do? Did you break the car? And I was like, I don't fucking know. No power is getting through. It's just revving. And of course, he was upset. He thought I broke something. At which point I was pissed off. He's like, how are you going to blame me? You were sleeping. And so I sit in the front seat because, like, fuck that. I'm not driving now. I don't give a shit if you need a nap. Remember, I'm spicy. And he's like trying to figure out what's happening. And I was like, oh, change the fuel filter. And he goes, we just changed the fuel filter like 2 weeks ago. We don't need to do that now. I said, change the fucking fuel filter. So he changes the fuel filter. It was a fuel filter. Your girl's fucking good. Your girl is good. I'm telling you, you travel with me, nothing bad will ever happen to you. There might be some inconveniences, but it just adds to the story. It just adds to the story. That's it. You know, that's all. That's all. I tell you. That's why now, if my husband has to travel a long distance, he's like, can you come with me? I'm like, why? Because nothing ever happens if you come with me. Our vehicles won't break down. It'll break down once we enter a gas station, like the only gas station around for several hours. This happened several times. Minimal cellular reception. I do not agree with that at all. So one time years ago, our RV, the serpentine belt broke off. Oh, the alternator belt broke in the middle of us driving. And then I killed the alternator because I couldn't regulate my energy. And so we had to keep buying, it was a daily thing. We had to keep buying a new marine battery for the RV so that we could keep traveling. And our distributor cap, something was going on with that. You'd think that you would stop in the state you're in to get that repaired. No, my husband drove us all the way from northern Colorado all the way down to Las Vegas to have it repaired because we knew a shop in Vegas. So once we got to the shop in Vegas, the mechanic looked at it. He took the, I think it's the, whatever cap, distributor cap off. And he said that it was completely smooth. He's like, you drove from where? And then my husband told him. And then he's like, how the hell did you even make it all the way down here? I will not consent to being stuck in the desert. Are you fucking kidding me? We don't have a generator. Absolutely not. You can break down in the parking lot of the mechanic. Please. Every journey starts with a single step. Babe, you've been running through your life already. You've been going through all the things that you need to go through. You can handle your life. You've been handling it. You come from a legacy of light. That means your capacity to overcome circumstance, to overcome adversity. It runs in your blood. I mean, okay, honestly, like be honest with yourself. You don't have to put it in the comments. Is your family full of weak people? Like, I'm being literal. Are they mentally, emotionally, physically weak people? Because if you have a family of spicy, if you have a family of like, y'all be arguing and getting crazy when you argue, y'all ain't weak. They're a little bit toxic or a lot of toxic, but no, pretty strong. If everyone in your family is strong, how do you figure what you're the only one that's not? Maybe it's a thing of you're the one that's in the most denial of how strong you actually are. I'm just saying. Maybe you're in denial. Maybe it's time for you to recognize your soul is preparing to give you life experiences that will force you to see how strong you actually are. Hey, spiritual prototype. Some scrapping too. I come from a scrappy ass family too. Be like, oh, we throw. No, both and knees. You don't just extend your knee out, you pull them into it. Don't listen to me. Don't do that to people unless you're protecting yourself. Don't do that to people unless you're protecting yourself. Okay. So you don't just stick your knee out. You don't just stick your knee out like this, right? So this is your leg. You don't just stick your knee out. You stick your knee out and you go forward. You lean into it. Well, pull them like that. Yes. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. Listening for truth. Are you ready to hear the truth? It's time for you to come to life. That's the truth. It's time for you to come to life. All of these things that you've held off, you've delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed, right? You've held off on it for what? And you have your excuses. None of them are valid. Just so you know, none of them are valid. All my excuses why I can't do cardio and why I remain fluffy, none of it's valid. It's not valid. I wish it was valid. I'm trying to convince myself it's valid. None of it's valid. Like earlier, I did cardio for 10 minutes because in the first 2 minutes, I was going to do for 20. In the first 2 minutes, I felt like I injured my foot. Girl, stop playing. Your foot's not injured. It's atrophied. It's atrophied. All you had to do was reduce the incline. You would have been perfectly fine. But no, I was like, oh, I'm injured. I'm so full of shit with myself sometimes. Whatever your excuses are, they're not valid. Excuse is not valid. You're valid. Your existence is valid. Your reasonings as to why you're denying the greatness that you are and what you deserve, that's invalid. So do what needs to be done. Get everything situated, line it all up. I'm going to be doing the 3-3 portal fire ceremony. Let me take this off. Oh my Lord. Okay. I'm doing the 3-3 portal fire ceremony. That is the Ascended Master fire ceremony. And with that, there's going to be quite a few. I don't have the listing up yet, but there's going to be quite a few expedites that are specifically structured for this prophetic period. I wish I could explain more. I do. I wish I could explain more, but unfortunately, I'm really not allowed to say much more than what I've already said during this live stream. Think in terms of accelerated frequency accretion. Think in terms of accelerated, amplified, elevated. What happened? Do you guys feel that in your chest? Like a big woof, like a percussive blow. And then like anxiety building. I know this is not my emotion. And I know nothing just hit me in the chest. And then like a sense of nausea. This is not good. I think this is not good. I don't follow geopolitics, but the sense that I get is that biowarfare has begun. There was some type of incendiary detonation used to disperse, to deploy some type of aerosolized something. So obviously the ground zero leveled nothing. And as everything spreads out, those people are about to get very sick. It's not in the United States, I don't think. It feels like it's abroad. I don't follow geopolitics, so I don't know. You got an image of a cross section of tree trunk splitting. The sense was like the initial payload leveled an area. It leveled an area and everything got flattened, trees and everything. So the tree trunk splitting definitely makes sense. And this is not this feels like a current event. I wonder, I'll have to, if you guys find videos on TikTok about whatever this event is, please forward it to me, because I'm trying to make sense of why I need to know this. And my feet are hot, like running across melting pavement with shoes on and feeling the heat of that transferring from the pavement to the shoes into the feet. Oh my Lord. A lot of screaming and the initial shock is settling a little bit, and whoever wasn't completely in the zone that was leveled, like I can't hear. Everything's muffled, high-pitched ringing. So whoever I'm viewing from, they're just beyond the actual like blast zone. Their eardrums are blown. You guys know, as a collective, you don't have to choose this. You don't have to choose this. There are so many other potentialities. And those who are in the USA this time, you and your children will not be immune. It won't be like other periods of conflict happening across the oceans. If it's allowed to start, it'll be every land, including the United States. You don't have to allow this. You don't have to choose this. Knowing there are other options and selecting those options and allowing your energy to be pushed into those options is a very powerful thing. It's a very, very powerful thing. It can create the type of change that prevents specific things from happening. It's probably the sheer volume of that payload cracking into the tectonic plate. Is there conflict happening in Turkey? It feels close to Turkey. I'm not super familiar with that region of the world, but it feels super close to Turkey, and it feels like it's tremendous upheaval. It does not feel nuclear at all. Hold on. That's what I don't get. Okay. So of all the links, national NIH.gov, it says, let's see, where is it? I can't find where it is, but it says here, this was posted in 2013. It's cited by 88 sources. The National Institute of Health.gov, quote, in warfare, it's more likely that the agent will be dispersed from an aircraft loaded into a bomb or an explosive shell that can be directed towards the enemy. It's definitely not nuclear. Nuclear energy payload feels different. It wouldn't just be a percussive blow. It would be an implosion before the explosion. So it would be like ripped out, pushed back in, and spread out like that. So I don't know. Let's just, maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. It feels very specific. Very, very specific. So if you guys see any videos or find out about any events, I don't know that they're going to be reporting it on regular news outlets. I don't think they're reporting it on regular news outlets because these are crimes against humanity. So these would be quiet missions that are being done. I think this might be something of a test run. The area that I felt was leveled might be 1 to 2 mile radius. So that's not super huge. So it might be something that's done in an area that's already having that type of conflict. It's very easy to just add another little thing like that. It's not a little thing, but in the grand scheme of whatever's being done in that area, it's just another detonation of something. So if you guys do come across any information, it's probably going to be via social media. It felt devastating, so you're not the only one if you're tripping. I think for those who serve kind of as a protective net, there are quite a few people who are part of a group that was formed by creation to serve as a protective net for consciousness of interest. The types of consciousness that are present that must be preserved. They're protected behind an etheric net, and it's a living net. It's fueled by specific worker type consciousness. The worker type consciousness is one that is custom selected, custom created, custom programmed by creator to be able to withstand certain types of energetic upheavals. So for those people, they're probably already going through quite a bit, and it's been like off and on for quite a few months already. And suddenly over the last several like weeks, maybe 3 weeks or so, Although there's still a lot of things going on in your life, like chaotic stuff, you kind of just entered into a space of calm. I don't know if that makes sense. You kind of just like, all right, listen, there's some inconvenient things that are happening, but it's not going to stop me from what I need to do. It is what it is. And I'm just going to have to find a way to overcome that. If that's the stuff that you've been experiencing over the last several months, and then you entered into that frame of mind in the last several weeks, you're probably existing as part of that net that I was talking about. So you need to make sure that you allow yourself to really care for yourself, address your needs, dietary needs, exercise needs, mental health, emotional needs, all of those different things. You need to be in a more stabilized space than you have been in the last several months so that you can serve in the way or function in the way you were designed to serve during this period. It's very important that you care for yourself. It's very, very important that you get the appropriate amount of rest, the appropriate amount of stimulation. You need to release as much fear as possible. And you don't need to be devoid of fear. You just need to have more courage than you do fear. So that way you can remain functional in whatever way you're meant to function. Like, for example, if we're going to use me, if I'm part of that etheric net, there's a lot of random fucked up shit that's been happening over the last several months and in the last several weeks. I'm just like, listen, life goes on. We're going to just keep going. So I might as well just accept, okay, this is an inconvenience. I need to find a way to overcome that so that I can more easily move through this period. But long story short, I'm not going to stop moving. I'm just going to keep going. And it's not an avoidance. It's a knowledge that this is just an inconvenience. I have something I need to get done and I'm going to get it done. So just breathe, allow yourself to process. It might take you a few minutes. It might take you a few days. Allow yourself to process. Okay. When you feel fear, it's usually your soul is trying to bring your attention to something you need to pay attention to. So what is it that's making you afraid? I mean, you could get off the live stream, Claudia. You could just assume that I'm not even talking to you. If something's upsetting you, you should go. And that is for every live stream, every video, not just of mine, everything. Why continue to remain in a space if you wish you never saw what all of us are talking about? It's not about being rude. I'm trying to get you to see that you're putting yourself in situations that don't serve you. So it's me being truthful, but you wanting me to sugarcoat and make it seem like I'm going to coddle you, and I'm not. I'm not. Why would you remain in a space that makes you feel afraid? That makes you regret being present when something is shared? It's a very powerful thing to, you know what that means? Scroll. To scroll. How is that rude? Me reminding you of your power over what you experience. What would be rude if I said, oh, you're one of those. You're one of those that likes to be traumatized by something you hear so that you can say, oh my God, I'm traumatized. Now that's rude. It's truthful, but it's rude. Learn the difference. Learn the difference. So you're traumatized and now you're offended, and I bet you're still here so that you can continue to comment about how people should feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for you. These are things you choose. When you feel scared, find out why. Exactly, Sabrina. Exactly. Just came in. I can feel scared in my chest. What's happening? So a few minutes before you entered, probably like 5-10 minutes before you entered, I suddenly felt some sensations, and I'm like, I know this is not mine. It was a sensation of something detonating. I think it's in the region near Turkey. I don't know exactly where, but there was, see, I'm so fucking good at clocking people's bullshit. I'm just so fucking good at clocking people's bullshit. uh, anyway, Sabrina. So I was feeling that, and then it was a sensation of an awareness of like a bio weapon being spread out. So from the epicenter, which is maybe like a mile to 2 miles in diameter, um, like all the areas beyond that, they're experiencing, and it's not nuclear, it's not like nuclear fallout or anything like that. It's more of like a bio weapon, something that was aerosolized, and it's like spreading. Like I said, I hope that I'm just tripping and it's not, you know, I'm just like being hypersensitive to various potentialities that have not come to fruition. Um, but we need to start making choices. You know, when we feel fear, just like you said, when you feel scared, find out why, right? And when you find out why, rather than just allowing that information to confirm why you should be afraid, you use that information to begin focusing on how to find a solution, and then figuring out ways to implement a viable solution. This is really how we need to begin living our life and seeing everything. Because if we don't, I mean, we're entering into a very, very just, I don't know, like rickety space. It's a very destabilizing environment that all of us are being forced to exist in, you know, economic destabilization. A lot of people are stressed about all sorts of different things. The hardships that many of us are now starting to experience that we've never experienced before. It's hard to stay grounded and clear in regards to what's happening and how powerful you are in what's happening. One of the ways you can get more clarity is like Sabrina said, when you feel scared, find out why, right? Just acknowledge the fear, acknowledge it, like, okay, I'm feeling afraid. Why is that? What is this coming? Is this mine? Am I feeling from someone else? Is it something where I'm being given some advance notice so that I can mentally prepare or maybe physically prepare? Do I need to go buy things? And y'all, you don't need to hoard supplies. Just no, that's not the message here. But you do probably need to make sure that whatever it is you're afraid of not having enough of, that you start to implement some type of plan where you can slowly begin to build up some type of reserves for that. Like if you're afraid you won't have enough money for what's going to come, okay, do you need to have Uber Eats? Can you kind of just cook at home? Do you need to go to the bar? Do you need that new outfit? Um, do you really need to Uber to places or drive to places? Or is it close enough where you could ride a bike? Do you need the gym membership? Or do you already have the knowledge of how to work out at home, work out at the park? You know, just kind of finding ways to be more responsible with your expenditures if your fear is scarcity of funds. If it's food, okay, you know, make sure that you take time every week, find out when they announce the sales, and then go and buy a little bit extra of non-perishable things when it's on sale. The best times are when whatever it is you're looking for is buy one, get one free. That's 50% off. And then you add in manufacturer coupons if they're still doing that. That's even more off. You can go to co-ops where they have all of these like bougie foods that are all natural, gluten-free, paleo, those type of words, grass-fed. but it's a co-op, and this co-op purchases food that's about to go expired. You know, expiry dates, usually food, if it's not perishable, you can pass that expiration date quite a bit. And that food is still perfectly fine. If in your state or your city or within driving distance, you can find a Rainbow Grocery, they got some really, really good deals. I remember there were chips that my kids love. I think they were like coconut chips or something. I forget what type of chips. It was years ago. A bag of chips is like $5-6. That same bag of chips at Rainbow Grocers was 99 cents, and it hadn't expired. It hadn't expired yet. So there are ways to really empower yourself. Whatever you're afraid of, that's the part of your journey. That's the detail your soul is wanting you to more consciously choose to prepare, to really create some sense of like, I'm doing something productive and I don't have to be afraid. Because really, fear was always intended to be an advance warning system. That's it. It wasn't meant to cripple you. It wasn't meant to be something that would cause you to doubt yourself, to push things away. You know, all of those things are something that we learned because of the programs that cause us to feel disempowered. We learned those things. Our parents learned it from their parents and their parents and their parents. And now it's just a normal part of society. You know, my mom's generation didn't believe in mental health struggles. And then when I began having mental health struggles, she told me I just have a weak mind. And that really offended me. That hurt my feelings. And I look back now, she wasn't lying. I was having a weakness of mind in that moment. I hadn't experienced that degree of internal hardship before, so I had no idea of how to cope. And because a specialist gave me a diagnosis, I believe that was my identity forevermore. Well, wouldn't you know? Turns out I just needed to go through that so I could develop the coping mechanism, a healthy one, in order to process, should I ever go through that again? I used to identify as someone who was chronically depressed and would suffer through rounds of clinical depression. These days, you know, it was a hard day. It was a hard day. Struggling with some of the things I feel. Why am I struggling? Well, I'm frustrated. I feel exhausted. Okay, what can I do to reduce that struggle? Well, okay, if I'm exhausted, that means I need to rest. I've overdone it. If I'm frustrated, why am I frustrated? The reality of my experience is not aligning with my expectations. So, what needs to be adjusted? First, I need to accept the reality of what I'm experiencing and then adjust my approach so I can create circumstance and opportunity to turn my reality into the end result of what I am expecting. Look how powerful I am over my own life. Is it easy? No. Is it worth it? Abso-fucking-lutely. Absolutely. I no longer experience depression, clinical depression, cycles and cycles and cycles. Yes, I do consistently feel some degree of heaviness. Why? Because I'm a fucking empath and I feel the world around me. I am distinctly aware I don't belong in this world, yet here I am. Why am I here? Because I was asked to be. Eventually, I go home to where I belong. But while I'm here, I will be fully present here. And I will be truthful in my presence, and I will not coddle the types of programs that have been designed to disempower you to your core. So, excuse me if my truthfulness is jarring to those who are so accustomed to having their weakness be massaged and loved upon. I don't do that. Capricorn moon, Capricorn Venus. I don't do that shit. I will be honest. And if you can't handle the reality of the circumstance you are creating and sustaining, I really am not the appropriate person to be watching. I will not waste your time. I'm not on social media to gain followers and clout and some type of like pseudo celebrityhood. I'm not interested in any of that. I'm simply here to be witnessed. Don't engage me. Don't engage me if you don't want to hear the truth that will help you to liberate yourself. And that's the person I will always be. I have always been that, and I will always be that. So if it empowers you in some way to hear the things that I'm speaking on, by all means, you're welcome to watch. You're welcome to be present and share space. But if in your head you think that you're going to force engagement with me and it's going to go the way you say it goes, I promise you it's not. Why? Because we're both sovereigns and I get to decide how I will behave. Bottom line. And I will always be true to me. So I gotta get going, guys. Please give this video a thumbs up. Oh, yeah. Hey, wait. I do still have my private sessions and my apothecary and crystals on that 50% off. That's going to be ending soon. So if you wanted to take advantage of that sale, now's the time. I don't know exactly which day it ends, but it's going to be ending very soon. Also, I still have my quantum potential event. I think there's only single digit tickets left. This is a 2-day in-person event. We're going to be doing some phenomenal stuff. We're going to be working on our whole being wellness, even your physicality, as well as soul-based business. And in those two things, the amount of stuff that we're going to cover, you'll be properly outfitted to create powerful change in your life. It's time for you to get in the driver's seat. It is your car after all, right? So if you'd like to be part of that, there's still a couple tickets left. And I do have my morphogenetic fundamentals workshop. I think that's going to happen. I might have to change the date. I think it was supposed to take place in March. I might have to change the date. I will double check. But yeah, that's about it. I'm going to go now. I hope everyone got something of value from this conversation. Whatever you heard me say, don't take it at face value. Allow yourself to dissect it within your thoughts. See what parts apply to you and how it's supposed to be applied. If you got triggered, and I know I very easily trigger people just by being myself. If you got triggered, you can be mad at me for a bit if you want. That's okay. It's part of your process. But don't just stay mad at me. Dig into why you got triggered. What is it? I promise you, I didn't cross your path for no reason, especially if I triggered you. Your soul brought you to me because there's a message somewhere in here that it's been working so hard for you to receive. I don't know what the message is, but your soul does. Receive your message so you can empower yourself through your life. It's time for you to be in the driver's seat. It's time for you to be your own navigator. You have the capacity. You have the capability. Now you just have to choose to be that for yourself. Okay? So I love you guys. I'll see you again very soon.